Have a seat.
Good morning, sir.
Siddhant Rajora.
Yes.
Please introduce yourself.
So, as you know, my name is Siddhant Rajora and I belong to Delhi. I've done my schooling from Faith Academy Senior Secondary School. Thereafter, I did my graduation in BCom Honors from Sriram College of Commerce, and I completed it in the year 2021. Since then, I've been preparing for the Civil Services examination. This is my second attempt and first interview.
Okay. I see from your profile that you appeared for defense services 2 times. But I see from the records that there is no connection of your family or anybody there with the defense services. Then what is the reason for the specific love for defense services?
Sir, I appeared for the combined defense services examination in the last year of my college because some of my friends, they introduced me with the examination and the job. So along with them, I prepared for it and I appeared for it. In the second attempt, I cleared the CDS written examination, but due to my knock knee thing, I was not able to clear the medical thing. So I was medically unfit to join that service.
Okay. You have been watching lectures on Ramayana and Mahabharata. This is quite interesting.
Yes.
What is the one thing, the crux of Ramayana?
So the crux of Ramayana can be attributed to the character of Lord Ram, that is Maryada Purushottam. If one is in the Maryada and he follows the rules, regulations, and the ethical attributes of himself, then surely he can succeed in every aspects of life and excel in all fields.
No, but from where the whole thing started, that is the crux. The Ramayana, Lord Rama came later. From where the whole thing started, Ramayana started, there is a crux of it.
Sir,
I'll give you a hint. It started with Dasharath.
Yes, sir.
What is that?
So the promise that he gave to Kekai,
You are quite near to it.
that one should not promise something that he cannot deliver, or he should not deliver something without in blind faith to someone. That could be something.
Some little different. You have to say in exact words. I'm expecting exact words. Okay, no problem. Now again, what is the one thing, the crux of Mahabharata?
Sir, it should be the sorry, sir, I'm not able to act exactly.
Okay. Now your extracurricular activities are quite interesting. You have been listening to Gurbani, Ghazal and Sufi music. What is the difference between Ghazal and a Sufi music?
So Sufi music is primarily attributed to the kalams of Amir Khusro, his writings, and the later Sufi saints. It is more of a devotional kind of a thing. Whereas in the Ghazal also, it was initially for the to express the love of one towards his loved one or the beloved like the God. But later on, it has also gained a more popular sense in the movies and popular culture of India and in many writings that have been written.
Okay. Suppose there is a pandemic in your district, you are a district collector, like this COVID and all these things. What all actions you will take? List 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So firstly, I would ensure the medical infrastructure is available to accommodate the number of increased cases of the COVID. Secondly, I would ensure that the testing and the sequencing of the samples are sent for the genome sequencing. Thirdly, I would issue advisories to the RWAs and the civil bodies so as to create awareness among the general masses. And fourthly, I would also do a regular audit of the medical infrastructure on the weekly basis, so as to have a regular check on the medical needs and the demands of the citizens.
As your name suggests, Siddhant, can you elaborate on this word Siddhant?
So Siddhant basically means principle, or the values or the principles that one should follow. Is that the exact in the meaning of Siddhant?
Good. If that is so, what are your principles of life?
So my principles are integrity, loyalty, and the dedication towards the work that I have been assigned and I am doing. Thirdly, it's currently I can think of these two.
You have done BCom honors. Frankly, I do not know the difference between an honors and a simple BCom. What is the difference between the two?
So in the honors course, we are taught specialized subjects in the greater depth with the practical aspect of it, whereas in the regular program course, the subjects are of the commerce nature as well as of the general nature. Like they can also choose from the general subjects like Hindi, English, political science. They have the option of having a combination of subjects rather than doing a specialization in commerce itself. They can choose from varied subjects.
You have done BCom commerce from the very prestigious institute, Shri Ram College of Commerce. Normally, the students who do from there, they straight away go to chartered accountancy, cost accountancy, and all those fields. Why you didn't have inclination towards accountancy? You are a master of accountancy. Wouldn't you be better as an accountant or chief chartered accountant as against the defense services or as against the administrative services? How will you put your accountancy into administrative service requirement?
So accountancy in the administrative service has a very key usage. That is the management of funds and the audit and the all the management is basically done. Financial attribute can help in that.
Okay, one last question from my side. It is quite cold outside. Don't you feel cold?
Sir, this year the temperature of Delhi is not very high as compared to, it's not very low as compared to other years. So I'm not feeling that cold this year.
Young boy doesn't feel very cold. When we were young, we were also like that, not wearing too many things. Anyway, okay, thank you.
Siddhant, you come from Karol Bagh,
Yes.
city of Delhi, and I guess you are born and brought up in Delhi only.
Yes.
So, what are the challenges you see Delhi as a city is facing?
So the biggest challenge is traffic, the increasing population density and the increasing traffic on the cities, and the second is the pollution. Third is the increasing crime that we can see. That is the unfortunate thing about Delhi, and also the accommodation of the migrants that are coming to Delhi. That is the issue. These are the four things that I can think right now.
Do you have any prescription for that? Like if you are let's see, you got the chief secretary of Delhi. So how do you propose to tackle these four problems you envisage for the city of Delhi?
So firstly, for the traffic issue, we can give promotion to the newly coming technologies like the EVs, which can which can reduce the pollution issue as well as the traffic issue. Also, we can promote the carpooling thing, wherein we can create awareness among the masses to pool while coming to their respective places. Also, the public transportation system must be improved. There should be more buses and more metro lines, because metro is comparatively more affordable and it's more effective in the time aspect of it. For the women's safety and the crime related things, we can have proper CCTV. We can have CCTV puts all over the Delhi. Also, there can be collaboration with the civil groups like the RWS, the resident bodies, etc.
More than that, hold on for a second. More than that, do you have any prescription for the city population is growing very fast, and it is getting into urbanized ghetto, jhoppi colonies. I mean, number of people coming from all parts of the country, it's really very high. Any prescription for that, or how do we tackle it?
So we can create more satellite towns across the borders of Delhi.
Sorry, sir, you are the Chief Secretary of Delhi, so not satellite towns.
So we can have schemes like the recent slum development scheme, wherein the in situ development of slums have happened. We have created the Pradhan Mantri slum development scheme, wherein the slum dwellers have been allotted the houses, pakka houses on their slums itself, and it has also reduced the congestion as well as provided a respectable accommodation to them. So that can be one thing wherein we can provide them multi-story buildings.
Don't you think it invites people from neighboring states to come so that one gets a free house in Delhi?
So that
isn't it an invitation to people from different parts of the country?
So it is not something that we should have a cut-off date for it, wherein the persons who are actually dwelling in the slums for several years should be allotted the pakka houses, and not everyone who is coming to Delhi and encroaching something, that should not be there. We should have strict enforcement on such activities.
Any prescription for the pollution? To my mind, pollution is a much bigger issue, and pollution created by the motor vehicle would be far less than the environmental pollution that is being created. Any prescription for that?
So one could be the EV thing, electrical vehicles. Secondly, we can have we can provide incentives to the industries to.
Delhi doesn't have much industry. You should not know it. Industries have been all thrown out of Delhi.
Yes. So the stubble burning issue is one thing that causes much
not
pollution.
Delhi related.
So we can have a joint effort from the center, the neighboring states, and the Chief Minister of Delhi or the government of Delhi can have a joint joint meeting or the group to solve the issue of stubble burning with discussions and debate and discussions.
Okay. You have studied in Faith Academy. Probably it is one of the good schools in the city. Have you ever been to the government schools? Any idea of the government schools?
So I have been there for some examination purposes, not specifically. I have not been there specifically.
Do you have any idea as to what is the difference between the Faith Academy kind of a school and the government schools?
So the basic difference can be what I have seen in my school and when I have visited the government schools is the infrastructure is one thing. The
infrastructure is more or less both.
So in Faith Academy where I studied, we had proper chairs and desks for the students. There was proper boards. We had the smart boards also. We had a audiovisual room, a messy hall that was for the multi-purpose. So that is one thing that I saw that in government school, that it was not so much accommodative for such purposes. There were benches that were not in a very good shape. Also, they lacked a closed auditorium kind of a thing for functions and programs. such the infrastructure things. Also, the environment there is a issue wherein uh, the students of the government school are particularly uh, does not get an environment that we at Faith Academy got. That is one thing that I noticed.
Right. Let's suppose that you get selected into IAS or maybe IPS, and you are the district magistrate being the IAS officer. So what would be the priorities in any of the typical rural districts of our country? As a district magistrate, because you are the administrative head of the district, all departments come under you: education, health, everything. So what could be your first priority? What do you propose to do?
Sir, I would propose to do the education sector, improve the education of the local villages.
What do you mean by improve?
Improve by ensuring that the proper teachers are available for teaching the students. The extra things that are burdened on the teachers, that is reduced, like the other government duties that they do. That is also one thing. And I would ensure that they have the proper information communication technology infrastructure in the village schools. Also, secondly, I would.
What is first thing you would like to do in the school? The rest of the things like infrastructure, getting the boards, not putting them on duties would be subsequently. First thing, what would you like to do in the schools?
Sir, awareness and perception management is one thing. In the rural areas, the villagers have a perception that that their sons or their daughters, even if they get educated, they won't get proper jobs and all. There's lack of demonstration effect on the rural masses. So I would create awareness among the people of the local villages through the gram panchayats. Also, I would demonstrate to them the benefits and the advantages of having of getting education, so as to create a positive perception among the minds of the people, so that firstly they are ready to send their kids regularly to the schools, and secondly I would ensure that they get proper education inside those schools and proper facilities according to their needs and demands.
Okay. Would you ensure some kind of discipline amongst teachers also, that they reach schools in time?
Yes, sir.
It is in the rural area, probably it has been felt. Teachers go to the school, take their classes as and when they feel like. There is no check.
Yes, sir. Surely we should maintain proper attendance registers of the teachers and the daily staffs of the school. For this, we can have biometric attendance of the staff, and a regular auditing should be done on monthly basis by the SDMs or the block development officers at the level of the blocks of the schools that are coming under them, so as to ensure that properly they are following the rules and regulations. The teachers are properly following the rules and regulations.
Okay. One last question from me. Now we are in the 75th year of independence.
Yes.
And initially, what our constitutional fathers of constitution proposed was the reservation for only 10 years. Now it is perpetuating, not only for the SC, STs, not only for the OBCs. Now recently Supreme Court has come up with the idea of 10% reservation for the economically weaker section amongst maybe probably upper caste. So close to we are 60% of reservation. So how do you see it? Is it encouraging meritocracy?
So reservation as a policy was introduced to bring social and educational equity among the backward sections of the society which faced historical backwardness. So the idea of reservation was for a limited period of time, 10 years, but due to the contingencies and the realities of the Indian society and the prevalence of the caste system, and the still there are cases of oppressions against the backward classes, so the reservation was continued. And in the recent past, there have been the cases, there have been instances of backwardness among the economically weaker section. For it, the government proposed the EWS reservation so as to bring parity among those also. But reservation as an idea has to end at some point of time so as to promote the actual meritocracy. But it should be slowly and gradually, and with and ensuring that properly every persons of the society are on the equal level.
Do you think reservation policy is genuinely helping the people who need it, or they are only affluent section of a particular society, particular set of people, they are getting benefited?
So more than the economic and personal benefit, reservation has a psychological benefit on the minds of the socially backward sections, that someone from their communities can also become the president of the country, the prime minister of the country, or have heavy or acquire big post in the government and the machinery, in the administrative machinery. So it has a demonstrative effect, and it can bring about positive perceptual change in the minds of the people. Surely there are cases where the actual downtrodden or the poor sections of the socially backward community are not have not got the benefits in the right way. But we should look at the larger picture of the reservation as a policy issue.
But in the larger picture, do you think last man is standing in the line, does the benefit reach them? Almost we are 75 years in our independence.
So the backwardness is of thousands and hundreds of years. So the effect or the actual change that is coming in the society has to take some time, and surely the reservation benefits are reaching the rural areas also. We can see greater participation of the rural masses in the from the socially and educationally backward sections in the government post. There have been increased number of persons from SC and ST communities joining the civil services or the joining the politics also. So there has been a positive change to some level, but there are things that we have to do to bring about the change at the greater level. Still, we are lacking on some points.
Okay.
सिद्धांत, मैं आपसे हिंदी में क्वेश्चन करूंगा, आप अपनी लैंग्वेज चूज कर सकते हैं, ठीक है। एक तो ये है कि थोड़ा सा आपको इन सब चीज़ों से अलग लेके जाना चाहता हूँ, और चाइना का अफ्रीका में ह्यूज इन्वेस्टमेंट है, लार्ज स्केल पे इंडिया भी इन्वेस्ट कर रहा है वहाँ पर। आपको लगता है कि ये सिर्फ इन्वेस्टमेंट के लेवल पर ही रहेगा, या फिर अफ्रीकन कंट्रीज जो हैं वो अगर दोनों देशों को देखा जाए तो वो इंडिया को प्रिफर कर सकते हैं?
So Africa as a continent has is the future of the global geopolitics, because African population has been emerging. There are
मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि चाइना और इंडिया में से वो इंडिया को क्या प्रिफर कर सकते हैं, और प्रिफर कर सकते हैं तो क्यों?
So they can surely prefer India over China, because India being a democracy, we have a diverse population. Also, we have cultural linkages with Africa since the colonial ages. Also, our industrialists and the workers are there. So also, most of the African countries by now are aware of the debt trap policy of China. So they are now seriously looking at Indian vision of collaborative development of both the Indian and the African continent, instead of the debt trap policy that China is purporting.
चलिए, एक सवाल आपसे सूफीज़म पे मैं भी पूछना चाहता हूँ। एक तो ये है कि कुछ पोएट्स के नाम बताइए सूफी।
सर, वारिस शाह इज वन, अमीर खुसरो, बुल्ले शाह, So writings of Kabir is also considered. Some writings of Kabir is also considered as Sufi.
क्या आपको लगता है कि ये जो पंजाब का रीजन है, पाकिस्तान और भारत दोनों के साइड का, इसके सोशियो पॉलिटिकल कुछ इसका इफेक्ट रहा है सूफीज़म का?
Yes, so there are cultural linkages between the Indian Punjab and Pakistan's Punjab, specifically because Sufism in the Punjabi language has evolved in the Bhakti era. It was a very prevalent form of worshipping the idol. So also the Sikhism in India is also affected by the Sufi saints and.
तो क्या पॉलिटिकल कुछ बताइए, कोई पॉलिटिकल इफेक्ट?
Sir, I'm not able to recall it.
Okay. लास्ट क्वेश्चन मेरी ओर से. आपने अपने टैग में लिखा है कि आपके पिताजी बिजनेसमैन हैं और मैं नहीं जानता किस लेवल पे हैं वो, लेकिन वो एक बिजनेसमैन है और करोल बाग के इलाके में ही आपका बिजनेस सेटअप है. जो पिछले दिनों सीलिंग हुई थी एमसीडी की, क्या उसमें उन्हें कोई प्रॉब्लम आई थी? कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं आई उसमें से.
That's quite change in your photograph and it's good. So I just I'll continue with Sufism. As far as I understand, there is no as a female Sufi saint in history. Or is it?
Sir, Lal Ded's writing are considered Sufi. Some Sufi saints have accommodated her writings in the Sufi.
But by and large, can we say? Do you remember? Do you have any?
No, sir.
No. Then and I saw that you are very much interested in Sufi music. But most of the Sufi saints, most of them are in the female narrative. Why so? Although even Amir Khusro wrote some things in female narrative, is there any reason for that?
So they are considering the Sufi writings are written to the God Almighty, considering ourselves as the follower or generally the Sufi saints have considered them as the lover of the God or the wife of the God or the beloved of the God in most of the writings. So that is one reason why. It could also have a cultural reason of patriarchy as a factor in the minds of the people.
Okay. And I saw that you are very much interested in Ramayana and Mahabharata. Tell me one similarity between both of them.
Between
Ramayana and Mahabharata.
both
Yeah.
epics. Okay.
One thing that is common to both of them.
So I'm not able to recall.
And I see your option is PSI.
Yes.
And you did your graduation from commerce, and I can see that you scored well. That's very nice academic record. Any special reason that why not going for commerce and accounts and opting for PSI?
So while I was exploring the subjects, the optional subjects, I came across PSIR. It has, I had interest in the subject. Also, it had certain degree of overlapping with the GS.
Okay.
So I thought it could be beneficial there also. And also it was a new subject for me. So I wanted to study that.
Okay, that's great. So just taking it to your option. You must have seen that the world has, or the polar or the power centers of the world has been changing with time, even if you take it from the medieval, Europe. How do you see world today?
So the current world order is multipolar, is moving towards multipolarity. There are rising powers like China, Japan, India is also one of them, and also there is the existing superpowers like Russia and the USA. So that is the current context of the geopolitics in the world order.
You're saying that the world is turning multipolar, and any particular reason why you're saying so?
So because of the increased globalization, the change in the economic orders of the several countries, most of the countries have followed the capitalist model or the neoliberal model of development since the 1991 collapse of Soviet Union. There is no clash of ideologies that was seen in the pre-1991 era.
So, don't you think that the emergence of regional organizations is a part of that? or something, or if I say that United Nations as an international organization is day by day becoming an obsolete organization, and more emergence of regional organizations like European Union or let's say BRICS in that case, is that a symbol that we may see a different world order in coming decades?
So surely there have been emergence of several regional groupings like the EU, the BIMSTEC, or the SAARC. But United Nations has a certain degree of relevance in all parts of the history since its inception. And the greatest achievement of United Nations is that we did not see a third world war after the Second World War, which was the basic objective of formation of United Nations.
But if you see the ongoing crisis in Europe, United Nations or organizations like NATO, they are not very much, we have not found them very efficient. The war started almost 10 months now.
Yes.
Started in February this year, and that has created, or rather, that has triggered a lot in the economic, the world economy as well. So, don't you think that the role of United Nations in that case is questionable?
So certainly, United Nations requires certain reforms so as to accommodate the current realities of the world order, because it was formed in the realities of the post Second World War era. So there are needs of reforms, but still, United Nations have been successful in preventing a food crisis in the world by the efforts of Antonio Guterres, who is the General Secretary of UN. Also, the direct role of NATO in the Russia-Ukraine crisis cannot be related because NATO is not a direct party in the conflict, so we should not consider its role.
So you're saying that we must do certain reforms in United Nations. What reforms you suggest?
So firstly, we should have the expansion of the United Nations Security Council. There should be more representation from the Asian and African continents. Also, South America should be represented. Secondly, the veto power should be exercised in a better and more. There should be provisions of explanations or while utilizing the veto powers by a permanent member. The General Assembly should be given more power. Also, the other wings of the United Nations should gain prominence, like the WHO and the cultural wings also.
But so, what are the role of you named certain other organizations as well? So, what is the role of these UN specialized agencies in reforming the world or making world a better place? Let's say.
So, for instance, the International Court of Justice is one organization that can play a role in arbitration between the nations, peaceful arbitration between nations, so it can prevent war. Also, WHO, in the current context of the global pandemic, it has played an important role in preventing and creating awareness among the masses. The UNICEF and the UNESCO, they play an important role in the development of tourism sectors and the development of nations.
Fine, Siddhant. Thank you so much. Please.
Okay.
That was first time?
Yes, of
Appearing for the interview. That's great. One thing I want to highlight, when the question was on your principles, why you have to think about your principles? I got nervous. That's totally fine. One thing that you have to understand that this is just another thing that we are just there. Also, you will be just facing people. So first of all, don't go for that. And what I observed that I guess you have memorized some answers. You have pre-prepared some answers. Let's not use the term memorize. You have no, because what you're doing that when you are thinking, you are losing eye contact. You're thinking and you're looking at this. Your eyes are like in the thinking zone. What I suggest you that when you are thinking, you can change the stance for a while, for a fraction of a second. Don't lose the eye contact. You're losing eye contact when you're thinking, because when you're taking pause, you're not looking. Also, one thing that you are listening the question with good patience, and I'll say that you have to understand that people will ask questions which are tough to you. You can face a tough time, but understand that that can pass. Right? Okay. The similarity between the question I asked and you, because you have written Ramayana and Mahabharata, the importance or the similarity is the importance of families. Both the epics were based on the importance of family, whether it was the Kaurava or the Pandav, or it was Ram itself. Fine. Rest, it's okay. Bit on your sitting posture. Just make sure that your lower back touches the ground and try to the back of the chair, because that's way better. Fine. Don't do it like this. So, and even if you're not doing that,
सिद्धांत, मुझे तो एक तो ये है कि आपने जैसे ही इंटर किया तो आप हमारी तरफ बैक हो गए, बल्कि आपको साइड होके को क्लोज करना चाहिए, ठीक है ना, बैक नहीं होना चाहिए। तुरंत ही फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन आपका बैक का वो अच्छा नहीं है, साइड होके उधर से आप उसको क्लोज करें। दूसरी बात ये कि क्या यही अटायर आपका रहेगा, कोट और सूट वगैरह रहेगा, तो कहीं भी जाइए आप इस तरह के इंटरव्यू में तो वो वेल मैनेज होके जाइए, ठीक है। और मुझे लगा कि चीज़ें कुछ आपने याद कर रखी हैं और उसी के अनुसार बोल रहे हैं, क्योंकि आप कई बार क्वेश्चंस में मैंने देखा कि क्वेश्चन आपसे जो पूछा जा रहा है उससे डेविएट होके कर रहे थे। और टेंशन में मत रहिए, रिलैक्स, ठीक है, एकदम रिलैक्स होइए, क्योंकि यहाँ पे आप नहीं रिलैक्स होंगे तो वो गड़बड़ है। और दूसरी बात ये कि सूफिज्म का जब आपने एग्जाम्पल दिया, जब मैंने सोशियो पॉलिटिकल पूछा, आपने उसमें पॉलिटिकल भी बोला था, लेकिन आप उस पर आपको नहीं मालूम था जिसे आप सिखिज्म कह रहे हैं, दरअसल वो पॉलिटिकल इमरजेंस है सूफिज्म का, और आपको उसको ही क्लैरिफाई करना था गुरु नानक और के संदर्भ में। और जब आप बुल्ले शाह और इस तरह की बातें कर रहे हैं तो आपको उस इलाके का जो पूरा कल्चरल पर्सपेक्टिव है वो कैसे उसके पॉलिटिकल पर्सपेक्टिव में आता है, इसको करना होगा। आपको थोड़ा सा इस पर ध्यान देना चाहिए, मुझे लगता है कि, और क्लियर होना चाहिए पॉलिटिकल थॉट कि गुरु नानक ही क्यों, क्योंकि एक क्वेश्चन आपसे ऐसे भी आ सकता है कि गुरु नानक ही क्यों उस पॉलिटिक्स को पकड़ सके, जबकि उससे ज़्यादा कबीर थे, कबीर कर सकते थे, एक पॉलिटिकल थॉट डेवलप कर सकते थे, क्योंकि उससे ज़्यादा स्ट्रांग थे उनकी बातचीत में, लेकिन गुरु नानक ने ही क्यों किया। इस सब चीज़ों को थोड़ा सा आप प्रिपेयर करिए। आगे मुझे लगता है कि सब ठीक है, आपके चेहरे पे तनाव नहीं होना चाहिए और लगना नहीं चाहिए, आपके फ्लेक्सिबल होना चाहिए, आपको क्वेश्चन ध्यान से सुनना होगा और उसी का जवाब दीजिए, बाकी नहीं।
One thing I have observed is that you are quite firm in defending what is existing. Maybe I understand is flexibility is the norm of the day. Like if you are saying that there has to be change in the UN, there should be a change in the UN, because the world since last almost 60 years, 40 years, 50 years, it has changed. World order has changed, so they should be able to accommodate. See, what they say is, only thing that is permanent is the change. So we should be adaptable to the change. Like reservation, I have nothing against this thing, but certainly merit is getting compromised. Nobody would say no. 40% coming on merit and 60% coming on reservation, this doesn't behove good to the society, for any society, not ours. 2. And if it is not reaching the last man on the ground, then we should find ways and means to reach them also, because it cannot be cornered away by any section. Any section, maybe whatever section this thing is there, any section, because it is meant to be reached to the entire society. Maybe the OBC, maybe the EWS, maybe the SCs, maybe the STs. So we should find ways and means to reach the last man. Like in sense, how would we reach them? We can get them to schools, we can get them some incentives in the education, kind of thing. So, what my understanding is that we should be adaptable, we should look into the problem. If there is a problem, we kindly consider it, try to accommodate their concerns also. So, I mean, instead of stoutly defending it, it is fine, there is the government policy. As a bureaucrat, we cannot say, but if there is an occasion, then we should say that we should be able to reach to them too. So I thought there is a bit of firmness in your this thing that whatever it is, we should defend it. We are not supposed to my mind, defend the government policy all the time. If there is a concern, you should be willing to look into it. Yes, we should. We'll try to address their concern also. Not that necessarily will change it, but addressing concern is talking to them, bringing some justice to them, bringing something closer to them so that they also have the aspirations. Good idea is that obviously there are symbolic changes also, perceptual changes also, that I can become the Chief Secretary, I can become the DG. That perception is gaining ground, that is there now. But only perception doesn't help the man and the last man in the line.
Siddhant, I am very happy with you. Good answers. Well read, well thought of. Few observations. When I asked you to introduce yourself, you started as you know. We all know, but still want to hear from you. So, little difficult to digest as you know. Straight away, I am Siddhant so and so, so and so, so and so. Secondly, sitting all the time with your hands on the thighs is not proper. You can use your hands giving answers. It conveys more. Number 3. In the interview board, there will be one chairman and there will be 2 members here, or sitting like this. So, chairman will normally support you. Chairman will normally support you. In half of your answers, I was supporting you. You never looked at me even once. Why? What should you do? You should look at the chairman in between, because he is supposed to be giving you the marks finally. And he is supporting you. So when I am doing this, so you feel happy that my answer is correct and get the strength. When I am doing this, so you feel happy as chairman is supporting me and my answer is going correct. You don't know which way answer is going. So take that support from the chairman. He will support you. Right. Hesitancy in answers. I mean, as he rightly said, when you answer and you don't find the words not coming to you, then you look down and you go back somewhere and bring out something. Right. So just take care. Specifically, Ramayana and Mahabharata. What is the crux of Ramayana? From where the whole Ramayana started? From where all this Panga started? What is that? Pran jai par vachan na jai. That is Ramayana. Dashrath had this value. Ram came much later. Maryada Purushottam and the whole thing came much later. Why the whole thing started? He said, I have given 2 wars to Kekai and I will have to abide by that. Because Pran jai par vachan na jai. That is the one thing of Ramayana. And one thing of Mahabharata, karma, action. Arjun refused to fight. He said, no, you have to do your action. Had he refused to fight, there is no fight, there is no Mahabharata. Why Mahabharata happened? Why this Gita Gyan happened? The Gita Gyan, the whole crux of Gita Gyan was karma. Krishna told Arjun, you have to do your karma. Nothing doing. Even if your father is there on the opposite side, your guru is there, your uncles are there, everybody, no, don't worry about that. You have to do your karma. So the crux of Mahabharata is karma. And crux of Ramayana is Pran jai par vachan jai. I tell you one more thing. Somewhere, something you bring to the board on Ramayana and Mahabharata and say these things. You can guide your interview yourself. Number 3 thing very important to me is Siddhant, your name. Principles of elder. Just remember 2-3 principles. Not many. Do my duty, I said. Do my duty assigned to me. Never do harm to anyone else. And do good to the society. These are my principles. Not many principles, not very high principles. Right? One final thing I'll tell you. I ask you a question. Pandemic in your district, what action will you take? Immediately, there should be line of action. Like management. First of all, you will immediately call the meeting of doctors. Chief Medical Officer, doctor. Like how many facilities we have? How many do we require? Manage them. From where you can get beds, from where you can get the oxygen, from where we can get the medicines, tell me what all you want. Speak to a chief secretary, I want sir these, from the local adjoining district, from this. So we manage the whole thing. And reporting, down below, upper. Take instruction from there, pass on. That's your job. You can't administer the injection or you can't do anything, can't produce oxygen. But management. And management starts with when there is a pandemic, there is a problem, the whole management starts with the doctors, chief medical officer of your district. So there should be a sequence. Like similarly, they will ask if there is a floods. Call the chief engineer, the PWD in charge, all these people. Take instruction on top, down below, like this, it close like this. Principles I have told you, Mahabharata, rest all is very good, just be little more confident.
I was a bit underconfident.
No, you are not underconfident. You are quite confident. But you have to be on top.
Just believe in what you're saying.
Little more confident. You are quite confident.
Yeah, that's good.
But we are very happy about it. But little more. Hesitancy, that should go somewhere. If you are not able to answer a question, if we give you answer, thanks sir. Thank you very much. Right? You will do very well. All the best to
All the
you.
very best, and you have a very nice smile. Enter with a smile.
Enter with a smile and proper attire, coat and tie. Coat and tie. Properly done tie, properly done coat. Both the buttons put. खुला नहीं होना चाहिए. Both the buttons inside.
So while sitting, I have to unbutton.
No need. Keep it like this. Be comfortable. Loose coat. Put the loose coat. Use your hands. You convey better. Confidence comes. Okay. All the best.
All the way.
Right.
All the best.